Alright, so Spirit, what does the collective need to know? Thank you for the likes. Hi, Shannon. Higher Soul Spirit, what does the collective need to know? And I ask, I invite any angels, archangels, spirit guides, and ancestors of the highest light and vibration. Yes, I invited y'all this time. Oh my gosh. Thank you for the likes. Hi, Lena. The archangel, one of the archangels was like, oh, you invited us this time? Very funny. Y'all are always invited. They know that I say a prayer with all of them included before I get on live, but they trying to be funny. Thank you for joining. Please like the live. I know for me, I sometimes am hesitant to go inside of a live because I know that it's like, you know, bad etiquette not to like sit there and like the whole time. I do want y'all to enjoy the messages though. So like I'm not pressed about likes, but I feel like Spirit is saying, if you would like for me to pick up on your energy, put a heart, a green heart in the chat. I guess they want to try something new today. I've never done that before, so we'll see what's about to happen. So I feel like Spirit is saying that if you're painting your house, you need to just hire a painter. I feel like Spirit is saying someone has been losing their hair, but it's gonna grow back. And I feel like they're saying for someone who had maybe gone to school and not finished, I feel like you should finish because there's going to be like an opportunity. It gives the energy of a license for something, like a license in counseling or something like that, but it doesn't have to be. So I feel like someone may have been having an issue with their child, but I feel like it's like the child feels some kind of way because you told him something about his hygiene. Oh, you said that's you, professional counseling. Okay, Destiny, good. Hi, Olivia. You said my master's, all classes done, not internship. Okay, good. So that means you'll have a nice opportunity once you complete that. Please repent for your sins. Child, I hate it when black folks come through here. I shouldn't say that. Olivia, you can either pay for the message or I do free questions on Fridays. But I thought I had my prices up here. What the hell is going on with this board? That's so weird. Something happened with these boards. It does not look the same. So my info is up there if you would like to get a reading. Alright, so I need for y'all to teach me I'm talking to my higher self, so I'm not crazy. I mean, some people may think I'm crazy for doing that, but anyway, this is what spirituality looks like. But I need y'all to help me to decipher exactly what is happening when you're touching my back, because I feel like y'all are trying to channel something, but I'm not sure what you're trying to say. I do feel like this, she's saying somebody watching me trying to throw some shade. Let me tell y'all in TikTok land something. Eyes don't care. I don't care. The collective doesn't care. Look. And that's one thing I feel like Spirit wants me to talk about is like the immense benefits of knowing who you are. Lord, now I got to block somebody. I don't know if I'm meant to do that. And I wasn't saying I hate when black folks come in alive. Hopefully that didn't run people off. I was talking about that woman who was talking about Christianity. How I want to say that. So my energy reads like a book. Thank you. And it holds a lot of ancient Egypt information. It even holds like Christian symbolism. It helps to explain different parts of the Bible. I'm very heavily connected to King Solomon, and so the fact that someone would have the nerve to come in here and act like I need to repent for my sins. Look, I'm one of the judges when you cross over. So I don't know who you talking to. Because I'm the one that determines those things. Keep playing with me. And I have absolutely no reason to cap about that. Or I don't say those things for clout or anything. Like around here looking like regular people. And they are very high-ranking spiritual beings. Kings, you know, queens, emperors. Like, people really be out here trying to thinking that everybody's just a regular human being. We're talking about ascended masters reincarnated. We're talking about ancient Egyptian gods and goddesses incarnated. Okay. Like, this is not for real. This is not a test. Like, I grew up a Christian. I was a holy roller. Judgmental and all of that shit. The only Spirit is saying the only energy that should be trying to see what they're trying to tell me. If you have been like longing to be an entrepreneur and wanting to be like independently wealthy and just for a couple of years until, you know, like it'll be money where you can live comfortably for a couple of years, but other money will be coming in the interim. So that'll be like just the first of many deposits. Because I feel like whoever is going to request like a partnership is like an intention or something they were manifesting. Oh, you said I'm really tapped into you. Okay. Is that something you do? It usually, spirit usually picks up picks one person. You say, yes, I'm a contractor on the side, hate my government job. Okay, good. You said no, okay. Well, I would just say, you know, that could be that someone is coming into your life. I feel like it may be someone you know, like a friend. Like, it's not, I wouldn't even say like a friend, but I feel like it's somebody who may like flirt with you or may have like tried. You said I resonate to beats. Okay. I hope you wanted to have a baby, dear. So just like kind of 6 daughters, 1 son. Oh my goodness. I don't know how you do it, because honey, 3 almost took me clean off of this planet. You hear me? And people just be trying to dim your light. You know, it's like instead of celebrating whatever you have going on, they instantly come back with something they have going on or something their children has going on. Like, oh, I just got a brand new house. Oh yeah, well, I got a house too about 2 years ago, and we've been doing this. Not congratulations, but just instantly goes into whatever they got going on. That's somebody jealous, competitive, catty, and trying to steal your shine. You said, now that I always say I'm giving birth to my destiny, I'm having labor pains now spiritually. Okay, wow. Yeah, well, that's what they were showing me. And I really feel like that your mate is going to actually help you to finish healing. And you know, I mean, technically in a vessel, we're probably never going to be finished healing. But I feel like you've been doing some healing. He's been doing some healing. And then when y'all get together, you all are going to heal parts of each other, which is awesome, because that also means that the relationship can just be peaceful. Like, it's given the energy of like each of you are going to try to outdo each other. So like he's always doing something like, babe, put your feet up, let me rub your feet, or you know, let me fix you something to eat. How are you feeling? Do you want to take a bath? You know, just like very attentive. Yeah, that's really nice energy. And it's going to be genuine. You know, like sometimes when there's not going to be a question of like, is this person going to be consistently a provider? You know, like that's not even going to be an issue. I feel like the person is going to be financially stable enough to, you know, manage like the current situation, but not like to the point where it's gonna be, you know, extravagant luxury everything. But it's coming, and it's not gonna take long. It's not gonna take long at all. So prior to me finding out that I had these gifts, I was extremely lost. Like I call it basically the wilderness, because I had like no real direction. Like I had gone to school, gotten my master's, and was working in my field, but it was just like it still just didn't seem like it was enough. And so the energetic connectivity to like knowing who you are and loving yourself is way more important than the conscious part. So from a conscious perspective, you know, we perceive life and like we can get in a car, we know how to drive. To affirmations while you sleep, writing out affirmations, writing out what you want to manifest, what you want your life to look like. And so all of those things, those were all the things that I was doing on a routine basis. Even though I couldn't see the fruits of it, I had no idea when it would come to fruition. I just knew that if I kept going, if I kept like, as we see how celebrities live in luxurious lifestyles, but there's some people out here that legit don't even want all of that. Like it would make them uncomfortable. So if you have a desire to have the nice things in life and live comfortably and be able to travel and all of those things, that is your higher self, like showing you what you're supposed to have, showing you what your life is supposed to look like. And I honestly, I feel like because the divine is so royal, that you would have to be like vibrating very low to just want mediocrity. Like that to me is like, I'm not trying to judge anybody, but to me, why, you know, why limit yourself? Why limit the possibilities of what you could have? And because I feel like we have all of our abundance built into our energy when we incarnate. So that's why it's so ridiculous for people to try to do destiny swaps and love spells and, freeze people in a damn freezer and all of this other shit, because your energy possesses all of the creativity, all of the inspiration, all of the abundance in every area of your life, especially financially. Like, I'm not trying to put that above everything else, but that's part of like the mind games that this world plays with us. That's part of like limited thinking, to just be okay with, I don't want anything else. I just want my bills paid. I want to have enough to get groceries. I want to have enough to, you know, get some gas. I just want to have enough to be able to go to the Home Depot every now and then. Like, bruh. And see, the problem is that people settle into just accepting the fact that they're not as intelligent or not as pretty or not as talented or not as creative. And it's talking about pouring into yourself in a positive. If you're constantly pouring into yourself in a negative like that, and if you have a lot of negative self-talk, that you're going to stay right there. Because I know people that are just like, I just want to work this job till, I hit my 25 year mark and then retire. And then, some people take on a whole new job. And so I just feel like Spirit is saying that I keep derailing from my original message, but when you know who you are, you can confidently see. We watch people online and we talk shit a lot. Like, we'll talk shit like, I don't give a fuck what they talking about, and the false narratives they create about me. And meanwhile, inside you are boiling. Inside you are having a complete nuclear meltdown. I don't care if he wants somebody else. I don't care if he don't want me. I don't care if he, like that type of energy. But really, when you don't know who you are, you do care, very much so. Like, we can try to Jedi mind trick ourselves all day, every day, but your energy is what is running your life. And because energy is frequency, you're putting, every time you have negative self-talk, or you actually, even worse, speak something negative out of your mouth over your life, you are putting yourself further into a like frequency that you're not going to want to be on. And so that's why faith is so important, because so as soon as I got divorced, I did not like who I was as a person. And I didn't like how I was relating to my ex-husband. I didn't like how I was relating to my children. I didn't like how I just felt about life in general. And so I started working on myself. And so in the process of me working on myself, I got into, like, The Secret and Christianity and all these other teachings. But I was like drowning myself in these teachings. One thing about Christianity, as long as you're not listening to a lot of bullshit about, premarital sex and this is a sin and that is a sin. If you listen to a bunch of prosperity messages, baby, you want to talk about powerfully, energetically realigning, redefining, reworking, rewiring. Like, I can't, there's not enough ways to describe how beneficial it is to brainwash yourself, like, in the positive. Another major thing that I did that completely changed my life was not watching TV. I don't like, there is probably the only time I turn this TV on is when I leave the house in the morning. I turn on cartoons for the dogs. That's it. I may watch something on Netflix on the weekends. I may watch a series. Like, I loved the Insecure series. But for the most part, I don't watch TV. I do watch an ungodly amount of TikTok. But I will say that, like, my algorithm is such that I'm learning. So either I'm getting a positive collective message, or I'm learning something new, or every now and then I'm laughing my ass off because something is funny as shit. So those are all things that have helped me to really focus, because if, like, the news is the absolute worst thing you can watch. You said TikTok is definitely one I have to limit. Yeah. I kind of feel like that. I don't totally feel like that, because, like, I will watch people that play sound bowls, and I'll do meditations with TikTok. Like I said, I will, like, maybe it's a really nice collective message that I resonate with, and I'll just listen to that on repeat while I'm sleeping. But, like, I'm not just looking at, mindless nonsense. I'm not inundating myself with celebrity gossip and shit like that. And I'm not judging anybody for doing that. But especially when you're doing stuff like that, you definitely have to have a balance and limit it. Because I know when I would watch, like, The Real Housewives, Bridezilla, when I would see how nasty those people were to just people trying to do their job, like, they would be nasty to people before they even got the product. So it's like, bitch, just order the fucking cupcakes. Like, it's one thing. I'm not saying, even if they messed up the order, I'm not saying you should be nasty to anyone, because there's a way to handle your business without raising your voice, without calling people out their name and stuff like that. But when I would watch that shit, I would be ready to fucking burn something down. I first wanted to go in the show and drag everybody. and then burn the whole building. And I'm not one of those A word people. I'm not setting fires. But I'm just, speaking metaphorically. Higher soul spirit, what else does a collective need to know? But at any rate, so I was the type of person who, I was a people pleaser. I was overly concerned with what people thought about me. I was overly concerned with how people were perceiving me, how people were thinking about me. It was to the point where I would get anxiety, like if I didn't feel like my clothes were perfect or my body was perfect or my makeup was perfect. Like it was like overly concerned about public perception to the millionth power. You said news is a great cloud of negativity for sure. Yes, absolutely. But so when I was operating like that, it was largely because I did not know who I am. Because now that I can walk around with the confidence of knowing who I am, of truly knowing that I have always been divinely guided and protected, it has completely changed my life. Because like previously I could be around some people and they would make me feel like outcasted or irrelevant, and it would really fuck with me. Like I would play it off during the time that I was with those people, but then like I would go home and be like criticizing the hell out of myself, beating myself up for like, why didn't I say it this way? Why did it come out that way? I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have done that. Oh, it was so embarrassing that I had, something on my shirt. It was just trying to be perfect for everybody else. But at the same time, like it was so wild because at the same time, I also couldn't really see my own beauty. Like every time I would look at myself, I know that I'm attractive, but I would like be criticizing this. And like now as I'm getting older, I'm like focusing on the crow's feet. And I'm like, oh my God, I got to get a facelift and all this other shit. And I am probably going to get a facelift eventually. But back to the regular scheduled program. So yeah, it's just like when people try to make you feel a certain way, when people try to dim your light and you're in that energy, it affects you so much. Like it can cause such heaviness, depression, just like not just overall not feeling good about yourself, not being proud of yourself. And that is probably the biggest travesty. I can't even talk. The biggest travesty of humanity. And it doesn't benefit anyone. Well, it doesn't benefit the powers that be for us to connect with our higher selves. Because when that happens and we realize our power, and we actually step into our power, it's a wrap. You say you don't need a facelift anytime soon. You look very youthful. Oh, thank you so much. I do use a filter on here, but I mean, this is what I pretty much look like with makeup on. But it's some crow's feet, and like my under eyes are starting to puff a little bit. So I appreciate what you're saying, and I know I just rejected your compliment. So that's a whole example in itself. You know, like just take the compliment and keep it moving. But I do appreciate that. I was telling my birthday is tomorrow, and I was telling somebody how old I will be, and they were like, wow, I can't even believe that. And I was like, shit, I can't believe it either. Hell. But yeah, but like when you really, thank you for the follow. Thank you. But yes, when you really know who you are, like, I just gotta say thank you. Like, thank you to me. I want to thank me for me. I want to thank me for being me. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that. But yeah, I was like, and you know, so I was saying that basically, like, people being mean to me or play in my face or something like that, like, it would really hurt my feelings. And but not only would it hurt my feelings, but I wouldn't speak up and say shit. So it's like people can do that, but they're going to continue to bully you until you actually stand up for yourself. And I would just let shit slide and, you know, continue to hang out with raggedy ass people who were being competitive and catty and jealous. And you know, that's what happens when you don't know who you are. You settle for like all types of relationships. You just settle for relationships because you just want to be part of something. You said sometimes people are mean out of jealousy. Yeah. And that's what was happening. But when you don't know yourself, the interpretation is that there is something wrong with you. You know, I didn't have the idea of like, fuck y'all, I'm fine, because I would always like criticize myself and be hard on myself and all of those things. So when you have a lot of negative self-talk and then you surround yourself with people who are causing you to shrink, causing you, you know, to dim your light, not celebrating you, not being genuinely supportive and caring, those are all like, those things compound on top of each other. And it becomes a situation where like you really have to dig yourself out of the mud. Because that was a time period when I was living very heavily from just my humanness. So, you know, not really knowing much about spirituality, not really connecting with the spirit realm, not really believing it, because that's the other part. Like, people go to church all day, every day, and they don't believe nothing. Even the pastors. The pastors are just in it for the damn salary. They up there hooping and hollering and carrying on, and behind closed doors, they don't even believe in none of that shit. And so my thing is, if you're a believer and you have faith, and you're putting your faith behind your action, why the fuck are you trying to undercut somebody so that they won't get ahead of you or won't steal your clients or some crazy shit you've come up with? That's what I mean. There's no way that you can believe what you're practicing. There's no way that you have connected to the things that, you purport to believe. But you're doing foul shit to people to get ahead. Or you coming up with get rich quick schemes, that are, causing you to go to jail because you done defrauded somebody. Hi, Latoya. So, and it started with bullying. So bullying in like elementary school, and so between family life and school, like the people I grew up with were like very depressed. If you know anything about depressed people, they're extremely negative. Like everything is gloom and doom. It's like finance is always a struggle. Life is always a struggle. Always talking about their ailments. Always talking about, well, I woke up and my knee was hurting so bad that I couldn't hardly walk, and I had to take my cane to work. Like just constantly thinking about just regular, ordinary, humanistic shit. And that's why I talk about how being an energetic being housed in a meat suit is like wearing a full body wool sweater, a full body wool ass onesie, romper, jumper, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Like this shit is uncomfortable for the energy. It's not natural. It's like, it's basically like wearing an uncomfortable ass faja. If you've ever worn a damn faja that's too fucking small, that shit will be cutting into you all day. It's gonna be damn squeezing the hell out of your rib cage, so you're not even gonna be able to take a full breath. You have to sip the air. And it's gonna cause you to be angry because you're so uncomfortable. It's tight. It may be hot. And if you have to move around a lot or sit at work and things like that, every position is uncomfortable. So, like, on some real shit, our energy wants to be free. And so maybe this is for somebody who may have lost a loved one recently and you having a hard time with the passing. Our energy longs to be free of the body. He says sometimes you wish you could just take it off to breathe for a minute, but you can't. Exactly. Like if you take it off, it's nothing after that. So, but yes. One thing I will say that I deter people from doing is I spent a lot of money on like mentorships and retreats and crystals and all of this stuff. So it was absolutely in divine order that I did all those things. But if I were to like mentor someone or kind of give them guidance, I would say like it is beneficial to have a mentor just to be able to help you navigate your gifts, not teach you how to do something, but just like show you how to trust your gifts, show you how to trust yourself, show you how to like simplify, what you're doing, not overthink it. Like that's what a mentor is for. A mentor should not be like teaching you a craft. When it comes to spirituality, we all have the clairs. So we all have these abilities. Some people have sacred gifts that are not, like the general public is not privy to it because people would abuse that type of power. So, I mean, there are certain gifts that are reserved for certain energies, but for the most part, and I'm jumping all around, but like they want me to go back to the fact that everything that we will ever need, everything that is owed to us is in our energy. And so I was saying the other day that my higher self will always say, your abundance is all around you. And I would be like, I don't even know what that means. And like it literally just clicked because our energy is not just within the body. Like with my human eyes, I can see my energy. That may sound weird, but that's one of my gifts. It's not to the point where it's distracting me all day, but if I go outside in, the morning time and I just like look, I can see energy going like this. And it looks like a tube, like, like a thin tube. It looks a little bit like what I would think DNA would look like, but it looks like a little tube and it has little circles within the tube. And so that basically it doesn't change. It looks wiggly, but it's like I know it doesn't change like frequency, but it's like the same type shape. Like all of them look different. They're wiggly, look kind of like, I don't know, snakes or whatever. Not really, but that's the shape of it. And then so your energy sits outside your body. So it's within your body, but it also sits outside of your body. And so you were programmed, like you and your higher self programmed your energy with all of the abundance. Like I said, all of the gifts, all of the creativity. So that's why it's so stupid to not just stay in your lane and try to compete with someone else. Because what vessel is vibrating at a different frequency, your energy that's within the vessel is slowed down. And so the energy that's around you, that's part of your higher self. So my higher self is basically connected to me at the hip. Regardless of whatever I'm doing as an energy in the spirit realm, because I have a very, big job in the spirit realm, regardless of whatever is happening there, she's always here with me. I feel like you should do whatever works for you. I mean, my spirit team, they really don't give a damn that I don't like meditation. They like, you don't have to like it, but you gonna do it. So, I mean, it is definitely a mandatory portion of life. And it's definitely underutilized. But yes, meditation is a big one. And prayer and meditation to me is interchangeable. It's really the same thing. You said I tried and can't focus. Yeah, that's the problem. But I mean, of course, you just have to keep doing it. Like, just know that you're not gonna focus, cause that's normal. Um, and even with a very skilled person who's been meditating for years, they lose focus at times. They may function because you always. I'm not saying that you can't like listen to trap music every now and then. But I'm just saying that for the most part, if you're going to be meditating, you definitely want to be listening to positive, uplifting, like hype you up to talk your shit type music, and in a positive way, of course. And but one of the most important things that I paid for was thank you for the gifts, was working with a diviner who does like African spirituality. And the reason why I say that is because he taught us like how to connect with our spirit team. Thank you for the finger heart. And so that's really, I don't care how you do it. You could just, if you live near the ocean or some mountains or just any kind of nature, a river. I'm going to continue to explain to people that nothing on this screen says free reading. Like, I can't do it anymore. It's extremely rude. People come in here and they see that I'm a reader and they'll just ask a question 24/7, but because I got to sleep. But if I could, like, out of a 12-hour day, if I could talk to myself the whole day, I would talk to myself the whole day. Because I'm getting downloads, I'm problem solving, I'm expressing my feelings, I'm talking to her about, like, how that eventually will pull some cards. But Spirit wants people to really, because what's really happening is you're reading energy, but you're like, so in order for your brain and body to function, you're constantly channeling information through your energy. And so really about knowing who you are, and it just takes practice for trusting yourself, because there's still things right now that I kind of question a little bit, especially when it comes to me. Like, I know that I read my energy a lot, but I know that my energy is literally a collective energy. Like I said earlier, I'm gonna post some videos about what my energy can teach people. But when you have, I would say that getting to know my higher self, if you can connect with your higher self, whether it's through nature, whether it's through meditation, those means that, between that and just doing it, is gonna really And I know that's easier said than done. And trust me, I spent decades of my life getting ready to get ready. And I was definitely fearful of a lot of things. I still don't like public speaking, even though I'm doing it right now. Um, when I'm in front of like an audience of people in person, I get nervous still. But like the more, so I get on live just to practice. I'm just practicing. Because I feel like my spirit team keeps me suppressed for a reason. And I've seen, like, they've showed me a little bit of opening the floodgates. So they'll turn the faucet on a little bit and then they'll turn it back. They're like, okay, this is a sample, and then we're gonna pull it back, and then we may inch it out some more next time, but then we're gonna pull it back. So like knowing those things keeps me in the game, because typically I would be like, oh no, I don't have any people in my life. No, people don't like my posts, people don't repost, people don't comment, because I was so in my humanness that I was extremely obsessed with public perception. And I had to experience a humiliation ritual for my awakening. So to go from scared of life to damn complete and utter, I got your payment, Peter. Is it Peter? But to go from like one extreme to the other in like a day, like, you want to talk about being thrown in the deep end of the pool and not knowing how to swim. Like, my higher self, I mean, like I said, it's my whole life has been before I even incarnated. I mean, that's basically what your birth chart is. Excuse me. Your birth chart is, they trying to get this toy. Jesus God. Go. They want to get the toy and then they want to fight over it. Like, come on now. So, now I done lost my train of thought. But so, yeah, so with, I don't know if my higher self wants me to call it a humiliation ritual, because that, like, the word humiliation is a little extreme, but that's basically what it was. It's like basically setting your ego on fire, like just burning that bitch down to fucking a burnt piece of log. Because it's always, your ego is always going to be there, but when you have to live such a human life, but you're so powerfully divine, that's why the awakening is so powerful. That's why it's like violent. That's why it appears to be like this humiliation ritual type thing, because you basically are publicly humiliated in order to like go through a massive transformation, a death and a rebirth. And it takes you from, I promise you, it takes you from 0 to 1,000,000. They were helping me to manage that whole situation. And I basically went from like selling my house and making a decent profit to like borderline homeless. And all that was orchestrated too. I wasn't homeless. Shout out to my ex. We weren't together, but I begged him. I was like, can I please? And I had to beg him because I have a dog. I had a dog at the time. I have two now, but I had Onyx. And I was like, I'm waiting on this apartment. Can I please come live with you? And he took me in with really no problem. And regardless of what we went through, I will always love him for that, because I was in a very, very, very dark time in my life. You know, it had to happen the way it happened, because like we all have different points in time where we have kind of like mile markers where it's like, okay, on this day at this time, boom, that's gonna happen. On this day at this time, that's gonna happen. You know, like I know that everything that happens now, and that's how I'm able to really trust myself more and trust my intuition and trust my higher self, because when you can rest knowing that you are protected and that nothing that happens in your life is supposed to hurt you or, you know, derail you or anything like that. Like the divine is not out here to harm you, but you have to experience a lot of different people, a lot of different personalities, a lot of different situations. And some of them, a lot of them, most of them will not be favorable. But I know that like there's a time period, like essentially before the awakening, where life isn't all that pretty. But then after the awakening, there's a stretch of time. You know, it varies for different people. I know mine has been about roughly 4 years. Yeah, roughly 4 years. And so that is like a time where you reclaim your power, you step into your power. And the reason why I said like limit the amount of money that you spend on classes and mentors and all this other stuff, because as you're downloading information, the divine is teaching you everything you need to know. Books cannot be completely trusted. And so your higher self is your best teacher. So like trying to read a bunch of books, trying to damn listen to a bunch of lectures and all of this shit, trying to just, you know, awakening. Because I watched his work and I resonated, and I was just like watching every video that I could find on YouTube, and just like drowning myself in the information that he was putting forward. And my higher self was saying that a lot of the information is accurate, but some of it is not. And so he has no ill intentions, of course, but it's like, as much as we want to like try to gain knowledge and wisdom from like a human standpoint, there's no way. Because there's information that my higher self will download to me that I have to Google. I don't even know what it is until I Google it. And you know, even with Googling it, like I still have to, you know, not read into it too much. But I will say that AI is quite on point about a lot of things. I must say. But I definitely feel like that's part of the reason why the divine feels it necessary to step in. Am I saying that correctly? Okay, Peter. I know you said a full but what kind of reading? You just want like a spirit message? Okay. Oh my god. I feel like they're talking about stomach issues. Like, have you been having some stomach issues? You said I'm back in the live. I had to honor. Oh, okay. Did have you had any stomach issues? Because they was talking about stomach issues, like you felt like there might be a blockage. Oh, okay. That's okay. Um, you know, I mean, we talking about stomach issues, so you know, I mean, that's part of it. So they were saying that you can fix that with chia seeds. So like chia seeds kind of act as like a scrubbing, like they scrub your intestinal tract. So I would say like what some people add like fruit to it. I know I've seen people put like mango and blueberries and strawberries and stuff like that. So I think that would help a lot. But you definitely, so like going into the healthcare field is one of those things that you and your higher self designed in your life for you to help you to remember who you are. You said no one specific, but help with guidance for clarity and truth and career and love. Okay, so I mean they're acknowledging that they hear you and they're supporting you for sure. So I do feel like maybe since I said Gabriel, maybe you should specify Gabriel. And I think you should look up Archangel Gabriel. Because I feel like that may be your definitely is a spirit guide. But and I'm trying to, cause I know I've heard people say Gabrielle, so I feel like they're talking about is Gabrielle. What else does she need to know? I feel like they're talking about a very valuable necklace. So, do you have a valuable necklace? Because if not, then this might be something you'll be inheriting. They're talking about like you having dreams of astral travel. Do you recall any dreams where you're astral traveling? You said no. That was your answer about the dreams. Oh, necklace. Okay, what about the astral travel? So the necklace could be something that you might inherit. Or maybe your man about to bring you. So I typed in, you said what you said, I don't think astral projection, but I have intuitive feelings and daydreams, but not always right, which is why I was praying for guidance. Okay. Um so Archangel Gabriel is associated with healing, particularly in the realms of emotional purification, mental clarity, and nurturing, often working with white or golden light. So I feel like the light comes out of your hands. And it says Gabriel is frequently invoked to heal damage of the soul, overcome deep emotional wounds, and provide guidance regarding children, conception, and pregnancy. Do you work, when you say healthcare, do you work in a hospital? Like, because if you work, you said, no, I don't, but I have fertility issues. Okay, so that's why they're talking about Gabriel. So are you saying that's her higher self, or just that she should work with him for the fertility issues? So archangels can incarnate, you know, like again, like I said, you cannot rely 1000% on a book, definitely not the Bible. And I'm getting information directly from the divine. Like, I'm not reading this out of a book. I didn't learn to use my gifts by reading a book. You said I've been a hot mess lately. Let me see. A reason it was kind of to get your attention. Yeah, I wasn't saying it to you. I was just saying because my higher self was like, you have to explain that. So I was thinking somebody else that was watching may have been thinking that. Because I know people watch me from outside live too. So but I definitely think that releasing that blockage is going to release something in the spirit, so that you can like stabilize, get grounded. I would highly encourage you to get out in nature and ground. And they're talking about putting your feet in the water. So even if you don't live near a body of water where you can put your feet in the water, you can do that in a pool. You could, if you have like one of those foot baths, you can do it that way, or just like sit on the edge of the tub and just put your feet in the water. And you can put like some Epsom salt. So why does she need to purify her feet? Or that's for grounding. They're saying it's for purification and grounding. So and what's interesting is they're reminding me that when I opened the live, I called in the archangels, and then the archangels were like, "Oh, you invited us this time," and so I definitely feel like I invited them in, definitely for you. So I feel like they're saying like the washing of the feet is similar to like the Jesus when he washed, like metaphorically washed the disciples' feet. It's like honoring yourself, showing yourself reverence. Like I was talking about earlier, worshiping yourself. Because honestly, you're the primary person who should be working with, integrating with, reclaiming your power with Archangel Gabriel. Like a lot of other people can call on that energy, but it's not going to be like how your relationship will be with that energy, because it's a part of your energy. And the reason, like Spirit is saying, the reason why archangels have incarnated is because of the magnitude of like healing that has to take place in the planet. And so I feel like the things that you have had to go through are in direct connection with like the ails of the planet, if you will. You know, so like being that relationships are fucked up on this planet, you know, you maybe had to go through a lot of jacked up relationships. Um, because capitalism is horrible on this planet. Maybe you had to go through a long stretch of financial problems, and maybe you invested poorly, and you know, maybe you got scammed. You know, there's just a lot of different things that earth angels, divine beings, all, you know, have to experience, because their power, their healing ability heals the world. Like it does, it's not like when you actually do the healing work, it's healing the world. It's not just healing you, it's not just healing your bloodline. You know, we're not in isolation here. The people, the energies who are the most high ranking are a collection. So when you do the healing work, you're healing an entire collective. And you know, basically that boils down to the world, because when you're talking about energies that are in the highest realms of existence, they're in the realm with source. That's basically connected to every single vessel. And now they squeezing my leg, my knee. Let me see what else they have for you. And now they're talking about your jaw. Have you been having any issues with your jaw? Or like clenching your teeth or something like that? You said not literally, just biting my tongue, holding back. Yeah, that probably could. They were talking about coconut oil. So, like, you know how people do oil pulling? I feel like they're encouraging you to do oil pulling to help with that. You said yes, okay. Um, I feel like they're talking about you biting your tongue is like a mechanism for not wanting to speak your truth. So it's giving the energy of like you not speaking up for yourself, maybe letting people take advantage of you, take you for granted. It's giving the energy of like you're a really sweet person, and like if you're in a relationship, you want to make sure you go all out for the person, but then they're not matching your energy or reciprocating. So let me know. Thank you for the likes. I finally got these nails taken off. I feel free. You may, Peter, you may be getting filtered. Thank you for the heart, me. Did you hear what I was asking? Oh, you had to leave and come back. Oh, you said I held back for a while at my old job. When I spoke up for myself, I got targeted and had to leave. Okay. So what I would say is that's something that they want to work with you on, because one thing about it is that you are going to have to be comfortable speaking your truth, and you are going to have to be able to like speak truth to power is what I'm hearing. And so like yes, it can be, you know, very isolated. People want to cancel you because of it. People want to create false narratives about you. But like sometimes you just have to speak up in order to pass the test. So you'll be given like 10 different curveballs, and then you'll have to figure out like how to hit the curveball, you know. Um So, you know, I feel like they're talking about like don't let that situation discourage you. Hey, Totally Dimples. Don't let that situation discourage you from speaking up again, because it's going to be important for you to continue speaking your truth. Thank you for the gifts. So I know that it can be hard, it can be daunting. And I'm not saying you have to like go for the jugular every time somebody does something or says something. But when it's important, you know, you have to take a stand. Like if somebody, you know, falsely did something to you, you know it's absolutely not true, you know, that type of thing. Um, is there anything else you want her to know? I do. I definitely feel like A masculine is coming towards you. Are you interested in men or women? Men, okay. So I feel like a masculine is coming towards you. And I definitely feel like this person is going to like have a very refreshing energy. It feels like very lighthearted. So I feel like the person likes to have fun, likes to go out places. You know, like somebody that will actually take you on dates. Bless you, booby. Can y'all stop? So I feel like your hands are being activated. So I feel like you may be getting like a pins and needles type feeling in your hands or like a tingling feeling. And that's your hands being activated. And once your hands are activated and you attach to, like, once you integrate with your higher self, then I feel like, you know, you'll be healing yourself, you'll be healing other people. But what's going to be important is to determine who is entitled to your energy and who is not. That's going to be very important, because I'm not trying to sound mean or anything, but if someone like completely did you dirty, you are not by any means supposed to heal that person of anything. Like, that's their karma for doing you dirty. Like, instead of coming against you, they could have simply joined forces with you and been supportive and been loving and been one of the few people in your life that you feel like genuinely care about you. And so their karma is to not have access to your healing energy. And I mean, that's a huge message in itself for the collective, really, because when you're a good person and you genuinely want to see the best in everyone and you want the best for everyone, and you're just like doing things out of the goodness of your heart, not with an agenda or anything behind it. Um, when someone comes against you and you're in that energy, because that energy is so rare, they like, absolutely not. Because as much as I consider myself a humanitarian, as much as I love people, like I saw this lady on the, median at the light, and I wanted to cry when I saw her because she was older, handicapped, hunched over, and it's hot here. I live in Arizona and it's already in the hundreds. Like right now, it's 9 o'clock at night and it's still 99 degrees outside. So, I was like, my heart goes out to people like that. But then I thought about it. I was like, Arizona is one of the first states, like the Phoenix area in particular. I don't know about other areas, but this area is like full of homeless resources. I was blown away. I went on a tour of it's called St. Vincent de Paul. Muhammad Ali was a big contributor to their movement. And they have like a whole campus. So they have misters, they have the coverings so that you can rest where it's cool, and they have a homeless shelter on site. They have help with getting your ID on site. You can establish like a little mailbox where you can get your mail delivered to. They have containers where you can put your personal belongings. And I mean, like, it's just everything in one. And then they feed you there. So I'm like, as much as I want to give this woman some money and I really want to cry seeing her in this heat, I'm like, these motherfuckers got too many resources for this shit. They're doing this because it is profitable. And as soon as I said that shit, like, I passed her and turned into a shopping center, went in the store, came out, and when I came back through that same intersection, her and the other dude she was with has switched sides of the street. So I'm like, ain't no way you for real. This is a business right here. So you got a woman hunched over, and then you got a man looking pitiful, and the woman probably makes way more money. And so I'm just like, because I was riding the bus to work when I was in high school. I would take the bus to work, and this guy that looked homeless got on, and he was like, I may make 1,000, may make 2,000, but I'm gonna be out there collecting my coin. And like, he was basically saying this shit was, profitable. And this lady was like, I am homeless, but I work. And what he was making may have been inflated because he was on the damn bus. But still, like, I know they make decent money because there's been exposés on the shit. And also, too, like, why would you ride up to your intersection in your BMW or your Mercedes? That's why his ass was on the bus, because he wanted to look homeless. Like, I just got off the bus. I got dropped off on this corner that I'm about to panhandle on. You said they got shifts. Yeah. I said, how y'all switch sides? I said, they better than me. That must be driven by some D-rugs, honey, because ain't no fucking way I'm standing out in that heat. You want to talk about somebody that would be over at St. Vincent de Paul with a damn coconut smile? Shit. It is too damn hot here. And this is dry desert heat. That's different. Now, granted, I'm glad it's not humid because I don't like having damn a wet back and, you know, I mean, my hair doesn't matter at this point because of my locks, but yeah. Nobody wants swamp draws out here. All right, let me pull a couple cards for you because we just chopping it up and shit. Oh my god. I'm like, you did pay for a reading. That's funny. Well, you got the Ten of Pentacles out here, so you definitely got some inheritance coming to you. That's definitely an inheritance card, like long money. And that's why they were talking about the necklace. They may have been just talking about an inheritance, and I was like seeing a necklace to represent inheritance, but definitely financial come up for sure. It's giving the energy that maybe you work a lot, but you still don't feel like you're getting properly compensated. Let me know. You said yes, very true. Okay. So definitely like coming out of this energy where you're having to like defend yourself, having to like stick up for yourself, basically having people coming against you. And that may have been like by leaving the last job as well. And then we have the Page of Cups, which is like a fresh beginning in love. So yeah, I would say clock that T. Shoot. Yes, sir. You're welcome. Did you have any questions? And for someone, I feel like you're an intuitive and your family did some shady shit to you. Like maybe even both sides of the family, like having to do with money. And because you've been pulling your energy back, they starting to get nervous. Because they know that you know what the fuck they did. But Spirit said, don't even worry about it because you're going to get it back. Then some. You said yes, especially my dad's side. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Like they said, you're going to get yours. That's why that Ten of Pentacles came out. because that inheritance, that's that long generational wealth money. And also too, like when you're a powerful spiritual being, and when you have powerful energy like yours, your abundance has been like stored up in heaven, girl. That's why, like, when you can grasp that concept, that your energy holds all of your abundance that has been stored up in heaven since the beginning of time. So, like, every time you incarnated, every time you overcame something, every time you did a good deed, every time you showed someone compassion, every time you said thank you to your higher self, your spirit team, your spirit guides, like every time that you can do something for the greater good of humanity, there's a storehouse of abundance. You hear me? And we're not talking about being holier than thou. We're not talking about getting your rocks off, because I do need some D coming up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not, but I'm not gonna do it. Girl, don't do it. I'm not gonna do it. But no, in all seriousness, I need for my man to come in. Like, I'm not gonna get tangled up with these folks out here, because that's how we get fucked up. You're supposed to be cutting this energy off, and you like, girl, I just want some. Like, I'm not gonna get caught up. I'm gonna separate my feelings. We gonna go, we got a plan, we gonna execute the plan, and then we gonna be out. And then maybe a couple months, maybe we'll need to exit. No. This is a message for somebody. Cut that D off expeditiously, because you really want a good partner that is going to why am I hearing that damn Coming to America song? That Coming to America, like, processional song. Oh my God. What happened? Were you singing that song? A queen to be forever. A queen who do whatever His Highness desire. Man, stop. No, but I really, excuse me, I feel like this man is gonna be like, your wish is my command. You know, like that type of dude. Like, he's really not a pushover. Like, you can't just run all over him and it be okay. But like, if he really loves you, this person's energy is like, they would absolutely do anything for you. Like, if you ask them to damn get up and go get you some gummy bears from the damn QT at 3 o'clock in the morning, they be like, all right, I'm gonna go. So, but yeah. And you know, like, I'm not talking about just sacrifice yourself to your detriment or anything like that. I'm not talking about self-sacrificing love and you know. I'm just talking about like just a pure love. Cause first of all, a woman that cares about you and knows like you just got home from work and you're about to go to sleep, a woman that cares about you is not gonna be like, babe, can you go get me such and such? Cause she knows you'll do it. She's gonna consider the fact that you just got home from work, you just took a shower, you just got in your comfortable clothes. All you want to do is eat some dinner and go crawl up in the bed and maybe get some tang, you know. But other than that, like she's going to be reciprocating that same energy, because the thing is that really kind people, really genuine people, people who want you to be happy genuinely, those are the people that get taken advantage of the most, because it's people that have the wrong intentions for them, that don't give a fuck about them, that it's all about what they can get, how that person can look out for them, what that person can do for them, how quickly, you know. And then like some females are so damn diabolical, they'll do shit like, I'm gonna ask him to just go get me some random shit from the store at 4 a.m. so I could see if he'll do it, so I could brag to my girlfriends. Who the fuck's energy is that? I'm completely embarrassed that there's people who think like that. Like, how dare you? I be wanting to drag these females that take good men down and through there over dumb shit. Just cause, let's not forget, like, for content. If you are taking advantage of the person who loves you and would do anything for you for content, for likes and comments and people laughing at your man, no. Mm-mm. Not in my house. Yeah, that's very mean energy. And you know, it'd be like, because I can't tell you how many times I dated someone and they were like, well, I paid all her bills, she didn't have to work. Like one guy I dated, I wanted to go, and I'm just a lot, like, I'm really not a violent person at all. But I wanted to go pluck her upside the head when this man told me he took on this woman and her 2 teenage children and paid for everything for everybody. She didn't have to work. You know, the trade-off was like she would cook and clean and stuff like that. But he was like, he had a thriving Turo business. Thriving. And he had to sell all of his vehicles and shut the business down because this woman refused to help him with the Turo business. Bitch, is you cool, bitch? Is you cool, bitch? I was furious. Because the average chick has to go to work, come home, get them kids right, and cook dinner, and do laundry, and clean. You mean to tell me you have a man taking care of you and your children, and you refuse to help him with the Turo business that is and he said, he was like, I was even gonna go so far as to give her like a $500 allowance a week from helping me with the fucking Turo business. What? Come on. You said, wow, your partner can drag you down bad. Absolutely. And that's why I be trying to tell people it is so crucial to be with the right person, because people will either build you up or drain the hell out of you. And if you're someone who is very powerful, you have gifts that are attached to a shit ton of abundance. And then instead of finding someone who's going to genuinely support you, want to see you win, like if you have children, they want to see you create trust funds for your children. So you would pass on that energy, but you would go and take the leech energy with you into like stardom. Oh, okay. That's smart. I don't like talking about celebrities, but that whole Steph and Ayesha Curry shit, that shit makes my gears grind. I don't know what those people are like behind closed doors, but how I saw homegirl acting at the fucking Met Gala, and then all of the other crazy stuff that she said publicly to embarrass her husband. I feel like Steph's auntie, like, come here, nigga, come here. Let me holler at you. Because, like, you can just tell, like, how she was acting at the Met Gala, you could just tell that it's all about her. Like, basically, she married him for clout. And it's like, it's so awkward and unnatural. It's like you trying too hard, you doing too much. I don't know. Let me stop talking about folks. But that's just one example of like where he married her clearly because she's a baddie. I mean, I'll never take that away from her. She's T for sure. But like when you join forces with people who are just trying to drain you, and that situation, and I'm just going off of what I've seen publicly, so I can't even imagine what goes on behind closed doors, but just based on what I've seen publicly, there's no, like, I just can't see that being a loving relationship behind closed doors. Like, I just want somebody who, and of course, we both gonna need our space and time apart and things like that. But I want to be with someone who I just want to be in their skin and they want to be in mine. You know, with balance. with our own individual lives and our own individual gifts and talents and all that. But herself, what you're trying to tell me. I feel like maybe somebody does trance mediumship. Wow. Um so I really feel like they're talking about as above, so below. And I had to sit with that for a minute, because I'm like, there are parts of this world that like I could never imagine being in the spirit realm. But they're saying like basically, if you could imagine like this planet being in perfect pristine condition, all of like any old building is completely restored, all the temples that may have been weathered and all of those things, like everything is like completely restored. Okay, so oh my god. So basically, I have talked about this before, where source was like, I talked to my spirit team, and I may say source, but I'm basically talking about like spirit. When I talk to them about like heaven versus earth and why this and why that, I was talking to them about like, why would people get tossed out of heaven? And so they were saying that source disguises itself. So like, source energetically can present however it wants to present. And so like, when energies are in other dimensions, there's likely source is in one of those people. And when I say source is in one of those people, I mean pure source, like Jesus, you know. And I know that, generally we talk about the Christ consciousness and stuff like that, but source blends in. So like, yes, everyone has a everyone has a part of source energy housed in them. But there's a difference between having a portion and being the whole ocean, is basically what they're saying. And I feel like they're talking about Oshun, like that's why Oshun is considered like, I'm not even sure, but I'm hearing creator or Risha. Let me look that up. But basically in spirit, like spirit would, or source would disguise itself as however the energies looked in that realm. And so source wanted to blend in order to like just enjoy its creation, have fun. It's almost like basically how it's described, like when I see an amazing musician or an amazing artist, like I can just sit in awe of my creation, like that type of shit, but blending in. Because in order for you to get energies to move as they would normally move in life, without knowing that source is like literally walking among them, people would try to be so perfect. They would be inauthentic. They'd be trying to be holier than thou. Every time source came through, they'd be bowing and shouting and kissing feet and shit. Source didn't want that. And so when people, like when source's creation started basically coming against source in ways, then they were like basically plucked off. But of course, from source's perspective, it's like, how could this energy be a part of me and be acting like this? And so it was at that point that source was like, I'm going to have to balance my masculine and feminine. How that works, I don't know if there's even language to explain how intricate that is. But because like the problem is that the Bible or traditional religion and all that has created this image of source as this absolutely perfect creator, and like the creator of all the universe, what keeps everything in balance. And yes, that's true, but at the same time, it's like, I'm a creator, you're a creator, but we still like have to balance shit out. So it's like when people started being sent to lower realms of existence, like I said, source saw that portions of its energy needed to be balanced. And so the whole point of like sending energies into this realm to work things out, that started getting crazy too. And so I feel like they're saying that some of the most catastrophic events um had to occur, like whether it be spiritually or otherwise, they had to occur in order to like tear everything down to build it back up. And so that's basically how I describe my awakening. Like I had to be, it was like a caterpillar going into a cocoon and a chrysalis and being liquefied and then put back together into this butterfly. I mean, that pretty much explains the transformation process. And so I'm gonna have to sit with um like why source would even want to deal with all of that versus just getting rid of everybody. Cause I'm like, with all this craziness going on, look, just scrap everything and start over. Just throw the whole shit away and let's start this bitch up again. Like, so I do feel like, you know, I'm gonna need to sit with that a little bit more just to see. So it says, I looked up, is Oshun a creator Orisha? It says yes. Oshun is considered a crucial creator Orisha and a fundamental part of the primordial creation team. So it says the only female primordial spirit sent to Earth by Olodumare. I don't know how you say it. I've heard it said, but I don't know how to say it. The supreme God to create the world. She brought the essential elements of water, fertility, and life needed for existence. So yeah. Thank you for the gifts. I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. So what else? Excuse me. What else would you like to tell me? So I feel like Spirit is saying, like, if you feel yourself, if someone makes you really uncomfortable and you feel yourself like stuttering, you don't normally stutter, or you just get an uneasy feeling, I feel like that person is because that person is judging the hell out of you. But what Spirit is saying is just look at the person. Like, if you ever want to be concerned, don't like why would you be concerned about somebody that look like that judging you? I mean, I'm just delivering the message. So one of y'all got a damn ooga booga. trying to talk shit about you. And it's all because of jealousy. Like, you just intimidate people. I don't care how many degrees the person has. I don't care how fine they are. I don't care how much money they have. Like, you gotta be pressure to damn intimidate somebody that has way more than you, way more motion than you, way more status, allegedly, you know, per I keep wanting to say society. Per society standards. But they jealous of you with a couple hundred or a couple thousand followers. I'm gonna need y'all to just like pipe down. Like go have a couple seats, ma'am, sir. Because that just doesn't make any fucking sense. Why would you be jealous of someone else when you got all that going for you? And that's how people fuck it up, because they focus their energy for a time period, build their business, build their brand, and all of that. And then you have all this like wisdom, knowledge, creativity, ideas. You have all this stuff within you and you completely blow it. Just because like folks want to be catty, competitive, just on some dumb shit. Like, I'm really honestly tired of talking about this. Like, I'm tired of talking about it. I'm tired of listening to damn other readers talk about it in their collective. But it's so pervasive. It is extremely pervasive. But I do really think that the less we allow people to get away with that type of behavior, the more it's going to stop. People only act like that because people let them get away with that shit. That's why it's so important for each of us to prioritize ourselves, put ourselves first. And that's not on like, there's a difference between selfish and self-centered. If you're selfish, you can put yourself first and not harm anyone else. Being self-centered, more than likely you gonna have to what are you doing? More than likely you're gonna have to step on somebody else in order to get, you know, what it is that you want. And stepping on somebody else doesn't even have to do with anything physical. It could just be mental, psychological warfare. And so I feel like there's a lot more psychological warfare going on than anything. And so when you're dealing with somebody who is bullying you through psychological warfare, silence is the weapon. Absolute silence. Because with people like that, if you're arguing with them, then they can call you argumentative, bitter, negative. You know, like they're gonna figure out how to flip that shit back on you when you act out of character. But and it doesn't even have to be acting out of character, because some of that shit is very justifiable. Like, if someone just does some foul shit, you have every right to cuss their ass out. I know I will. But again, with certain energies, when certain people are doing that type of warfare, you have to like cut off phone calls, text, limit text. And I'm talking about like maybe it's a family member, maybe it's an elderly family member that you know, kind of want to loosely stay in contact with. But I'm not talking about like a love interest or something like that that's doing that type of thing. I cuts that off cold turkey. I'm not playing that game with nobody else on this plane here. Not in that regard. So, you know, if I'm not gonna put up with toxicity from my own children, I'm damn sure not gonna put up with it from somebody that I'm dating. So we need like a serious overhaul of this planet. What are you chewing on? Ani, are y'all chewing on that damn blanket? Stop. Yeah. So now I done lost my train of thought for real, for real. But yeah, like we have to because what I have found is that people who play that psychological warfare shit, they play that game so well because they're tormented within their thoughts. So when someone is like in a mental prison, it's just like being in a regular prison. The inmates have all this idle time, you know, a lot of the time. You know, of course, some may work, some may go to programs and stuff like that. But there's some inmates that have nothing but time on their hands. And so all they're doing is plotting, scheming, strategizing. And that's what these people do who play psychological games, because they think that they're 10 steps ahead of people. And sometimes they are, because a lot of times, like, it'll all happen before the person realizes what happened. And then by the time it's already done, like the games have been played so much that the person is like intimidated to say something, or, you know, whatever the case is. But silence, because the thing is that if you vocalize certain things, then they know exactly what you're thinking, how much you know, all this stuff. But when they don't know what you know, And all they know is you are pulling your energy back. Man, that will send people like to the moon. So but we still, we still have a responsibility to be, just diligent about ourselves and protectors of ourselves. It's really important to, like I said, when you put yourself first, that sends a signal to your energy that you love yourself, you care about yourself. You prioritize the protection of your inner children at different ages and stages. And when you start doing that and you protect yourself, you protect your energy, you stand up for yourself, that's like how you heal those parts of yourself, those parts of your inner child that was neglected in those areas. And because, like, I'm gonna give an example of, like, say a parent allows a step parent to mistreat their children. Like, especially if it's a father who children look up to as the protector. If you are not protecting your children, they are like, that is so detrimental. Because it's basically like, I don't care enough about you to care about how other people treat you. Like, that's crazy work. Like, it's one thing to treat me a kind of way, some kind of way, like you treat me some kind of way. But not to even care about me enough to care about how other people treat me. Because, like, what I'm talking about is how parents sometimes act in certain ways towards you, but they don't necessarily realize it. But if you bring it to their attention and they can see it happening and they still don't care enough to protect you, and then when you really take a good look at that relationship and you like, y'all don't even have a loving, like a real loving relationship, but you would prioritize that person over me. So that's now sending a whole other signal to your brain and your nervous system. Cause it's like, I matter less than somebody you don't even give a fuck about. Like, y'all's relationship is just transactional. It's pretty much always been transactional. The one person just wants a damn travel buddy and to be able to say that they're married and brag about their husband or whatever. And then the other one is in it for, the financial stability. And gender neutral. And I cringe at the idea of me like potentially choosing someone who I would just exist with. I spent a total of 12 years with my ex-husband. We were married for 4 years. And when I tell you, I felt like a freaking huge chunk of my life was robbed of me by that dude. Now, granted, everything happens in order and I'm not questioning it anymore. Like, I used to really beat myself up for even getting with that dude. But now I see that I had to go through everything for a specific reason. But to think about being married to someone for 40, 50, 60 years that is not even for me like that, that we're just existing together in a human vessel. And the only thing that we really have to show for this shit is some damn trips, some pictures, you know, a comfy lifestyle. Okay, Angie, thank you for hanging out. Good to see you. So, yeah, like you have to really I tell these stories because it is so imperative, like when you're choosing someone, to be wise about it. And again, you encounter people for a reason. You may have a relationship with them for a reason. But every relationship is not meant to last your whole lifetime. And that's another reason why society has marriage fucked up. Because some marriages aren't supposed to be till death do us part. And there are a lot of people who will put up with abuse and all kinds of craziness because they feel like, oh, well, it's against my religion to get a divorce. That's lunacy. And I'm not trying to offend anybody. But if we're talking about Catholicism, that's the same religion that said priests can't get married, nuns can't get married. And then you deprive people of like being in a balanced relationship. Then you deprive people of like physical pleasure, and like I just got a bunch of pressure in my ear. You deprive people of physical pleasure and expect them not to be like sexually deviant. Man, I'm just gonna leave it at that. So, there's a reason why the Ankh is like the blending of the masculine and feminine energies. There's a reason why there's the masculine and feminine relationship. There's a reason why the masculine anatomy fits in the feminine anatomy. And all of that stuff. Like, it's not natural to tell somebody that they just can't have a romantic relationship because they have to commit themselves to God. That's not even of God, because source is masculine and feminine. And I just got finished saying the whole point of this life is to balance our masculine and feminine, and then to be with a partner who's also balanced. Because, you know, each individual that houses masculine and feminine energy is a reflection of source. But the actual masculine and feminine relationship, and this is no shade to you know, LGBTQ, but like the masculine and feminine relationship is supposed to be a reflection of like as within, so without. So as above, so below. So like source, their energy with, like, you marry the masculine and feminine within, just like you would marry the masculine and feminine without. And so like that's why I'm saying, like, it just does not make sense, some of the rules and regulations that have been put into place. And so that's why it's so important to get tapped in. It's so important to get comfortable with integrating and interacting with your higher self. It's so important to see things from a higher perspective. Because if I just continue to see things from a humanistic perspective, like it would hinder my faith so much. Because there's so many mechanisms that have been put in place to make us feel like we can't achieve certain things. Only certain people are entitled to certain lifestyles. That we're just like relegated to working multiple jobs, losing sleep, not enjoying life. Like, what's the point of that? There is absolutely no point in that. And people really don't think about that. Like, why would Source send you to Earth to work yourself into an early grave, be a depressed alcoholic who terrorizes their family because they're mean drunk? I mean, like, come on. Source wants way more than that for you and for everybody. Because laughter is so good for the soul. I'm trying to be in a situation where I'm laughing 90% of the day that I'm awake. And hell, if I have a funny dream, that would be great too. I'll take that. But like, just enjoying life and being lighthearted with everything and finding like pleasure in everything, finding joy. And I'm not saying that I can't do that now, but money does improve things. And I mean, I'm very thankful for what I have. I'm very fortunate. And it's very important to be thankful always for what you have. But like, the source of most people's stress and anxiety is the rat race. And so that's another reason why it's so important to consider those things. Because if it's, important to elites that people are oppressed and working all the time and don't have the time or can't create the space of peace in order to tap into their higher self and their purpose and their gifts. That's how you keep people at a job. When people tap into their gifts and realize that they can build a brand and make real money off of their creativity, why would anybody work for anybody else? I mean, the whole worker bee workforce concept is to keep people suppressed so much that they don't see a way out of the rat race. And the thing is, like, I'm very thankful for my job. I'm not, complaining, because I definitely use my paycheck, okay? But just speaking in general, if you are employing people and they're not even making a living wage where they can qualify for like a 1-bedroom apartment or actually pay their rent comfortably, like that's unconscionable. And so and then it's like, so the whole world is basically like in a situation where it's like having a wealthy aunt or a wealthy parent and you needing some help. Like maybe you're in school, you're trying to build your business. So it's not like you just sit around not doing anything, but you're actually putting effort toward improving yourself. And you have a relative that can help you financially, but instead of helping you financially, they go and like contribute it to a war or whatever. I'm trying to be careful what I say on TikTok. But it's like, how can you not afford to help me out, but you can afford to invest in that because it's going to then give you a return? Okay. Because my thing is, with the way that the world is set up, with how hard it is for young people to make it out here day to day, if you have a child who is pure-hearted, who doesn't ask for much, who has a proven track record of working very hard for everything that they have gotten, and has done above and beyond has gone above and beyond to be a good person, why would you not? My joy is supporting my children. That is my joy. Like, whether they think so or not, because see, I'm not that mother who would spend thousands of dollars on Christmas and work 3 jobs just to buy them a damn G.I. Joe with the Kung Fu grip. No. You might get some Five Below items or something like that, but I'm the type of mom that I'd rather send you to Spain on a trip, because I sent my daughter to Spain in 8th grade with her school. So I'd rather invest in sending you on a trip that's going to allow you to see a part of the world that I haven't even seen, that's going to help you to be more cultured. It's going to give you some autonomy, because you're not going to be by yourself, but I'm not going to be there, and you're going to have to, like pack your bag, navigate the airport, follow instructions, all of that stuff. So I was looking at it as an opportunity to learn on multiple different levels. And even then, I was faced with opposition, because her father's mother decided that she wanted to send her to Spain in booty shorts. And I was just like, ma'am, she may be in 8th grade, but she's got my shape. So I don't know, like, where's she going in them shorts? And then on top of that, she like played me in front of my children, including my daughter, because I said the child had to wear shorts that were in compliance with the school dress code in another country. Like, there's no difference. They're treating the trip like a regular school day. So whatever you will wear to school, that's what you should pack in your damn bag. This is not the time to bring out the damn thigh-high boots and your damn what are them, bubble skirt, bitch. No. Regardless, I'm not trying to have that in the United States. And then she gonna say, well, everybody else wear them at school. Everybody else is not my daughter. And this is an adult talking to me like that in front of my children. Everybody's not my daughter. And this child has hips, thighs, and booty. No, she's not wearing booty shorts. Thank you. But, like, instead of just saying, oh, my bad, well, maybe she can wear these around the house or something like that. Like, just don't take these on the trip. Instead of saying that and being an adult about it, because I wasn't trying to, like, go off on her or make a big deal about it. I just stated a damn fact. But instead of, treating it like an adult, she wanted to pop off at the mouth. She's looking at my daughter, but I'm sitting over here, but she's looking at my daughter acting like I'm not in the room. Next time, tell your mother that she can buy the clothes. How old are we? How old are you, ma'am? Because that's the type of behavior that I encountered in, like, barely middle school. Like, we talk about 6th grade. That's why I'm saying it's a bunch of damn adults walking around acting like kids, because they're still stuck in a time period that has not been healed. I'm hearing your soul will not mature if you're not growing it. So, I mean, it's really just like a plant. If you're not going to actually plant it properly, give it fertilizer, give it water, give it sunshine if it needs sunshine. If you're not going to do those things, then it may grow a little bit, but it's not going to grow much, and it's definitely going to probably wither away pretty quickly, if it grows at all. might pull a couple of cards and get on up out of here. What are you trying to say, Spirit? Well, I mean, I think the live is pretty much clocked with this because, like, I've been talking about this the whole time. Balancing the masculine and feminine energy. Here we have the King or Queen of Wands. And then I've been talking about healing, balancing, alchemizing your energy, transmuting your energy, and uncovering your gifts, your creativity, all of your abilities that are going to put you into a leadership position. So I feel like a lot of y'all went from having no clue as to like what your purpose is, where you're going in life, other than like from a very humanistic standpoint, like, okay, well, I have my MBA, so I'm gonna work at the bank or wherever, you know, I'm gonna work at this investment firm. And so other than that, like other than just looking at life from a human standpoint, you had no idea truly where you were going. And that's one thing that as parents we can really impact our kids like that, because like it was drilled into me that I was going to college. Now, am I glad that I was forced to go? Yeah, I mean, it was gonna end up happening anyway, but we lack giving people the opportunity to choose their own path. And so, like, I was, like I said, I was basically told that I was going to college and I really didn't have a choice in the matter. And so that's what I did. I just went along to get along. And I chose criminal justice because I was like, I'm going to need something really interesting to keep my attention, because otherwise I'm not going to want to do the work. And so that was what I considered interesting at the time. And it, going through that process also was a part of my process of awakening and me remembering who I am, because I've said this before, my energy is attached to my aunt. I am like a judge in the spirit realm, and just a lot of other things. But every career move, every decision that you make about like the career you go into and all of that is for a specific purpose. But the challenge is knowing how to pivot. So knowing how to like, say, okay, well, I'm going to do this job for maybe 5 years and then I'm going to start moving toward this position, or, it's just stuff like that. But ultimately, the goal is to be like self-made, where you just don't have to rely on, traditional means of revenue, like generating revenue. So But yeah, so basically, spirit is like balancing your energy, healing, transforming. Like, that's how you uncover how to get to the bag. Because if I really thought that my line of work was going to be it for the rest of my life, absolutely not. Yeah, you set yourself free by doing the healing work. And now you have a brand new beginning. Brand new beginning in love. And really, because this is like the chalice and like the holy dove, and the chalice talks about like transformation, the death and the rebirth, going through the water to get to like, it's I have to revisit it, but it's basically like a blending of fire and water. And the fire is the eternal flame, like eternal life. And I think there's something in the Bible that talks about drinking eternal life. Um, but yeah, like when you set yourself free by doing the healing work, and like I said, when this type of energy, this is a divine outpouring. This has biblical significance. Okay? So like, and then the hand is in the cloud. So like that's the type of overflow that I want. I don't want my overflow limited to like what I can acquire physically. I need for there to be a supernatural outpouring. Definitely a spiritual leader. And I feel like some people just use some really poor planning in how they handled you. Yeah, and when you are using poor planning, it's a wrap. That tower is gonna hit. And no fresh starts, no, like you gonna have to go through that tower moment. Shoot. And sometimes people will mistreat you because they misjudge you. Like they'll look at somebody else, they'll look at this Empress in the reverse and think that they're really an Empress, but then look at you like I don't think that's a good investment. And Spirit's like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. You gonna learn today. Cause that chick, I feel like I'm talking to a masculine. That person is the Queen of Cups and the Empress in reverse. This is giving the energy of a bitch that will try to trap somebody out with a baby. Like you don't even really like homeboy like that. You may like him, you do like him, but or I'm just saying you. I'm not really talking to this chick though. So the person may be interested and may like this individual, but this is also giving the energy of like the type of female that goes for the jugular for men. And when I say goes for the jugular, I mean like, you know, calling, texting, hey, do you want to come such and such with me? Like my treat. Do you want to come to the movies with me? My treat. Can I come over, and do you need any cleaning done? I can do your laundry while you're at work so that you don't have to worry about that, and I can get your place clean, and I can prepare a meal for you so that it's hot when you get home, and all this other shit. Doing the absolute most. So the Empress in the upright, she doesn't chase, she attracts. She knows her worth, she knows her value, she knows who she is. She knows that she has taken every challenge that she has faced and turned them lemons into lemonade. This energy is fertile with ideas. Is like a great mother energy. So like we're talking about someone who heals the generations, someone who helps to heal and balance humanity. Like not just the community, not just the family, but humanity. And I keep talking about this, but I don't think people really realize the magnitude of an energy being able to heal themselves and in turn heal humanity. But when you have the Queen of Cups in reverse and the Empress in reverse, this is someone who, like I said, they present themselves very well. So they present themselves as well put together, hair done, nails done, everything big. Let me love you. Let me support you. But all this person is doing is setting your ass up for the damn okie doke. Because as soon as they accomplish their goal by locking you in, because they can see like what your future holds, it ends up turning into a tower moment. Because once this person gets locked in with this chick or this masculine, they're going to quickly realize that this person pretended to be an empress and is not, pretended to be a queen of cups and is not. It's just like how men complain about their wife was going hard in the paint before they got married. And then once the man got locked in with marriage and a kid or two or three, that's when the shit all came tumbling down like a tower. And you know, the I don't chase, I attract energy gets tossed to the side basically, because that, like, just genuine authenticity is not as appreciated as like the energy that is gonna do the most. But then the person ends up getting resentful in the long run, because like I told people before, there's something about like an element of mystery. There's something about the chase. And I'm not saying that I'm just out here making men chase me, but I do need for people to make it plain. I don't assume anything. That's how I have mastered the art of detachment. When you stop assuming, because when you assume, you make an ass of yourself sometimes. And so, like, sometimes men could be straight up flirting with me, and I just be like, oh, he's really sweet. And then somebody will be like, you can't tell he likes you. And I'd be like, I guess I could look at it like that. But I straight up, like, I could tell, because I'm intuitive. I know when I'm feeling somebody. I know when somebody's feeling me. But at the end of the day, like, I'm just, like, I'm not going to assume anything. And I don't read people's energy without their permission. If the person is sitting in my energy and I happen to get a reading, then that's different. But I'm not sitting around like creating something that is not. Because let me tell you something. One thing about mastering how to read energy and how to trust yourself, the reason why inner child work is so important is because the imagination is so important. It's like basically how they're explaining it is that when you're using your imagination, your conscious mind relaxes. Your conscious mind rests, and then your imagination, your subconscious, that can then take the forefront. And so that allows you to be more flexible. And when I say be more flexible, like sometimes I'll say it even out loud, and my higher self is like, don't say that. Where I say stuff like, I feel like I'm making this stuff up. She was like, don't say that, because then you're going to keep thinking that you're making it up, and you're not making it up. Like, you're on point. You are tapped in. Like, she keeps telling me that. And I guess, that's kind of a mechanism of mine, just to kind of like buffer me from being wrong or whatever, if I'm being honest. But truly, you have like having childlike faith, and like tapping into your um imagination. That's the way to tap in. I mean, that's why young children are extremely tapped into the spirit realm, because like they haven't yet been tainted by the world or whatever. Now, granted, a lot of things affect the baby while they're in utero, and whatever the mother is doing has an impact, even her thoughts and emotions and all that. So I'm not gonna go like I'm not gonna get too scientific with it, because I want to keep it spiritual. But it's more so like energies passed down through the bloodline, and so that's why these cycles need to be broken. But the majority of the family, is not gonna do that shit. They are not about to damn get up there and do that work. And so until someone like you steps on the scene, that bloodline is going to be a hot mess. And if you grew up around, I want to say it's the baby boomer era. It might be the one right before that. But I know my parents are older. They were older when they had me. And their generation, they have a problem letting go of shit. Like, my mother was a straight up pack rat. Her house looked like an episode of Hoarders. And so when you talk about just not wanting to let things go and shit just being all over the place, like, that is a direct reflection of what's going on internally. If you can't let stuff go, if you just got stuff piled up around you, you not trying to clean out any of that clutter, I can tell you exactly what's going on the inside of you. And that's not to shade anyone. That's not to make anyone feel bad, or guilt anyone. It's just to bring awareness. I want the absolute best for people. I want people to be happy, healthy, thriving. Not just surviving, but thriving. And so, like, when you have scenarios like that, there's way more spiritual significance than physical. So it's like, if somebody can't let go of things, they can't let go of the past. And when someone is a hoarder, like, that's next level, because you can't really clean around that. It's very difficult I'm gonna say it's fucking impossible to deep clean around hoarding shit, you know, piled up. And stop. Don't do that. And so that's part of the reason why people cannot get out of like child mode, because they're so hell-bent on holding on to their childhood, holding on to what their parents didn't do, what their parents did do, what happened to them at school, what happened to them at, at the YMCA, what happened, like there's so many different things, and people just get fixated. For some of y'all, your parent was fixated on the ex-spouse. So it may have been outwardly demonstrated as like, what's the word I'm looking for? It might have been outwardly demonstrated as like anger, frustration, that resentment, that type of thing. But really, internally, that person was not trying to let that relationship go. For whatever reason. Like, I know for my situation, it was more like the person, like, I'm going to say, I'm not going to pinpoint one person, but I'm going to say for the most part, the people that I have dealt with, they wanted to conquer me, control me, like make me just a little bit smaller. And so once I pull back and once I like am not entertaining the bullshit, then that's when everything flips. And it's like, I'm angry because I can't have you. So I'm going to just, be miserable, and I'm going to try to make your life miserable. Like it's just craziness. And so I just encourage people to take one day at a time. Like you can start by listing out what issues you've had. You can list out the different like emotions and traumas that you've experienced, and then just pick one and start with that and start working on that area. And I always tell people, like, the healing process does not have to be difficult or complicated. You can simply call on the archangels. You can call on, a deity if you want to. There's just so many options. You can talk to your spirit guides and your ancestors of the highest light and vibration. And you can ask them to help you to heal in certain areas. Because, like, I was doing a reading for someone the other day, and I was telling her that spirit was like taking over her healing process because they could tell that it was too heavy for her. It was too heavy a load for her to do it on her own. And you're not supposed to do it on your own. You're supposed to enlist the help of your spirit team because they're the ones that truly love you. When there's nobody in this world that's going to love you the way you need to be loved, your spirit team knows exactly how to love you the way you need to be loved. And like today, I I was at work and I dropped something and it broke, and I was just like, and it was time for me to go. And this was not like no quick cleanup either. It was ridiculous. And so I was just like, I was on the verge of tears. And my higher self touched my shoulder and was just like rubbing my shoulder and like, it's okay, we're here. Like, we got you. You know, you're not going to have to be frustrated like this for much longer. You know, and I feel like that's a message for the collective. Like, the way that the world is going to be changing rapidly, it's not going to take much longer. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm about 55 minutes away from my birthday. And I don't even want to say how old I am. Like, I really didn't think that I would, I mean, not saying that I thought I would be, you know, have transitioned by now, but I'm just saying, like, I never really conceptualized that I would get to the age where I didn't want to tell people how old I am. Because I remember back in the day, like, I had to sneak and look at my mother's driver's license to figure out how old she was, because she refused to tell me how old she was. And so, when I tell you, I'm tripping. Like, the last time I was tripping like this, and I'm not sure why this age is so particular, because it's not like a round number or anything like that. So I'm not really sure what's going on. But the last time I had like an oh shit moment was when I turned 30. I was at the stoplight and I was just like, bruh, I'm 30. And now that I'm the age that I am now, I'm like, to be 30 again. But anywho, I love my life. I talk shit. Some of it I do mean. Some of it is just me talking shit. But either way, I still love myself. You know, there's nothing wrong with wanting to make improvements. There's nothing wrong with getting some work done if that's what you choose to do. I mean, of course, be safe with it. But there is nothing wrong with that. And that's with anything in life. Like, if you want to improve something, like, I wanted to improve my teeth, so I got braces. You know, just whatever makes you feel the most powerful. And I'm not saying go out here and blow, you know, $5,000 on a new wardrobe or anything like that, unless you can do that. But I'm just saying that there's certain things that you can do in moderation while you have to be moderate, that are just like little simple. You can have just a basic skincare routine, because I know you can get some decent skincare from the Dollar Tree. Okay. So there's a lot of different ways to handle things where you don't have to let me hop off of here. Thank y'all for hanging out with me this long. I appreciate it. Thank y'all for the likes, for the gifts. Until next time.